there's a good chance that we can push up from here. Now, I know that the banks are a bit weak, but the commodities are a bit chirpy. What I also wanted to just point out with the US dollar here, because any country outside of the US is subject to the US dollar here. So this move that I've had down here in the US dollar, I was expecting it, but not quite as deep. But at the same time, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here with a corrective move coming back up to supply zone, and then another 5 here. So I could look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. And as long as that holds, then the US dollar is strong and can push up from that point. However, if it now takes out this low here, then it's going to come much deeper. Now, it could just be an A wave up here and a B wave here, but the point is that it will come deeper if it takes that low out here, because I'd have to look at that as being wave 1 and 2 in here, and well, the wave 2 might get a little bit more complicated with another little push up first and then down, whatever. But if that low is taken out, then it's going to come deeper at that point. Now, if it's going to come deeper down here, then the commodities are going to get all excited and push up, and they're already excited because this is pushed down here and it's pushed the commodities up and commodity stocks and so on. So keep an eye on the US dollar DXY here. If that low is breached, then you know that we're going to be going deeper, and that means you could stay in some long positions on the resources. Also to the S&P 500, we're quite close to having a low in, well, a possible probable low in for that as well. So if I can just drag that across here for a moment. So we're searching for lows, and so tops and bottoms can be a little bit tricky to get, but as a wave 1 up here, an A and a B and a C wave down here, and in that C wave we've been looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we've been working down here. So I've got drawings all over here from the previous video, but wave 3, 4, and we've actually just made a new low here. I mean, I could even put, I mean, it's like, this is how things finish off. They're never perfect. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here and have the low in place and push up from here. But I wouldn't call that in, because that's just reckless of me, and so I can't do that. But so what I do need to see is, I was thinking about, you know, we could certainly, I see stocks like Bank of America still needs to make another low here. So I think realistically we do need to make another low, but the point being is that if Thursday produces another low here, and then Friday we get an impulse wave for Friday, well, then we're probably on our way at that point. You know, there is a bearish count and there is another bullish count that's that can have a move up here and then down at that point as well, for another leg down. But you know, the thing that I'm getting from some of the bigger stocks, Tesla and Apple and those sort of things, you know, they're in their final sort of, well, more so Apple's in its final stages. Tesla's got a little bit more to move down, but they're all getting quite close in their own way. And then what happens is that leading stocks tend to drag around the following stocks. The leading stocks tend to have more range, and the following stocks are safer to trade because they follow, but they don't have the range, and then things don't finish off the way that you would like them to, because they get pulled around by, you know, a change in trend as such. So just to point out, the takeaway is that, you know, we can see that this is a third wave down here. You know, I mean, a big strong wave here, and then we could see that we're at the ends of it here. You know, I've been talking about the end of this, you know, for a while, and I still need to keep talking about it, as boring as it is, but you know, we are close to it, you know, but I don't see any impulse wave up here yet for this, but we're close. So Friday could push that. So coming back to the Australian market here, now that we talked about the US dollar, so keep an eye on that previous low for the US dollar. Now for this market here, we can have wave A low in place and moving up for wave B. Now there is possibilities that we could look at this in a more corrective. This is just on the 20, that's not what I was looking for. So on the alternative mode here, I could look at it like this, the A, the B and the C down here, and we have the low in place like the S&P. So, but that to me, I'm just in the guessing game with all of this. And this trend here is, the ASX can be a tricky one to count. You know, sometimes it's nice and smooth, like this was pretty smooth going up here. A little bit tricky around the fourth and the top here, but we knew where we kind of were and all of that sort of thing. And yeah, because we just have two sectors here. We either have dirt and we have money, you know. So they're always pulling on each other, and mainly it's dominated by the banking sector. But I have seen the ASX being pulled around by the mining sector as well. And we've seen, you know, the Labor Party being moved around by the mining as well, and the Liberals. They've all got a price on their heads. So yeah, so I mean, the other interesting thing I'm finding at the moment is that I think resources are going to push to the upside because they smelt that weakness in the dollar. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But the other point here is that the little move up here can be counted in 5 waves. So it's quite plausible that we do see another little move up here for this, you know. Is it just that we're going up for that B wave? If I just go to drill in here a little bit closer, is it something like this, you know? I mean, on this chart here, we're sort of crossing the line here, but when we go to the 100 tick chart, we're just really on that line. So I think in all fairness, I should just adjust that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know if this is the A wave, but what I'm saying is we can count 5 waves in this little move here. And this looks a little bit corrective, this move here. Now, I don't know if we're just going to get sort of a push up and then we're going to get a push down, and you know, and it basically gives us a hard time at that point, or we are going up for the B wave, or we got a low. I don't know, but it does appear that that we've got this here. I wouldn't worry too much about the count here. I don't feel confident in the count that I've got coming down. So but what I can say is that, and I've probably said it before, we do have a little impulse wave here. Now this is probably an impulse wave here too. We can check that at the moment. This is rather big and sluggish and heavy for a corrective move on that trend there, you know. So we do need to be mindful that, you know, we can just be in some type of you know, sideways correction here and pull down from this point here. You know, I knew we'd get a bounce off here, and we're just really monitoring the bounce to see if we can get an impulse wave out of it. And we've got the first little bounce here, but the rest of it looks a little bit tired. If this is a impulse wave here, and let's just assume this is a correct, I mean, I can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, but obviously there's overlapping between that high and that low there, so it's probably better off to be a corrective pattern. And if it is a corrective pattern, well, then we would probably look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 3, 4 and 5 here in that case. But even if we got to here, that could just still be the C wave at that point, as an A and a B and a C wave here, or an A, B and the C here for the B wave here, and then a move up, you know. So I think we'll just keep on monitoring the situation. If you want to trade, well then, you know, we can look at some stocks along the way to have a bit of a look at. The other point here is that I was thinking that if the US market does find a low and the US dollar breaks down below, then we can look for a setup on the supply level. So normally this is the top of group 1 here. So all of this is resistance here, obviously. So if we could find the first high above the level here somewhere, it won't be that high, Pete, it'll be somewhere here, level with the others. But if we can find that high here, then we could actually just have a look at what kind of pattern we've got when we get to this point. Because I'm talking about trend trades here. I mean, short-term traders can, look at buying this and keeping a stop under here. But Thursday's got a habit of opening higher and then trading down for the day. So just be careful about that, and then Friday, it's the one that we want to be bullish. The Thursday afternoon in the US, it starts to firm up and then starts to, produce that run for the Friday. So just be careful about Thursday. Yeah, it can in the bullish weekly cycle, but I don't know if we're in a bullish market yet. Do you know what I mean? Because we've been in this bearish trend here. So, but look, I think the 7.3 is the setup area that we're looking for. And we'll just need to see, because see, gold can have a low in too. So when I come back to this alternative count in here, the reason I put that in there, because gold's a little bit different. We've been looking at the A wave up here, but I think there's a good case for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at least, and then the B wave, and then down at that point, giving a bit of equality here. But I'm just sort of guessing a bit, and it doesn't really ring true for me, but the gold market can have a low in place here, so that's kind of, the gold market can either have a low in place here, or it can, we're going to look at the gold market today as well, and also GDX, but so we can look at gold doing this as well, as an A wave here, a B wave up here, and a C wave to come down for its wave 2 over here, or we can have this over here for gold anyway. So I thought we could probably do the same thing as well. So we'll just need to be a little bit mindful of how we go, and we'll just keep an eye on how this progresses to the upside at this point. So with the banks, they are still moving down here, and we expect them to move down. This has never really been clear in here as well, so I do wonder if we've actually got 1, 2, 3 to here, 4 to here, and 5 to here, and actually find a low on here in the next session, because this is really where Bank of America, for example, we're looking at that being bullish. So if I just bring Bank of America across here, because we're part of all of that. So we've got wave 1 here with an A and a B, and looking down for a C wave. So we're still looking for one more low here. Now this might be a bigger bearish picture and everything, but at the same time we've been looking at wave 4, 5, and then I can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here and 2 here, or 2 over here, and it gets also messy here like the S&P. But I do feel that we need to come down here further, and then we'll find a low in here. Now this low here, maybe that can coincide with this low coming in here for this, and then we could push up from that point. I still think we've got a B wave at that point. And when I have a look at this is the finance sector, this is just the beta shares one. So there's a possibility that we could, look at this. 1 and 2 here is pretty clear, isn't it? The third wave here with the big gap in it's a little bit trickier, but I'm just wondering if that could be the third here and the fourth here, and then the 5th coming down into here and finishing off here. That's what I was kind of thinking. I'm not quite sure, because it is very messy with CBA and all of them in this space. It's not that simple in here for this. But obviously we got the third wave here, so maybe this is a fourth. It looks like a fourth, doesn't it? Smells like a fourth, looks like a fourth. It's probably a fourth, but we've still got a little bit more to come on this here. So it'll be interesting to see if this can shore up tomorrow, in line with the US markets and push up at that point. Anyway, I just thought about that. So nothing to do here anyway at this point. It's not clear. So this is BHP as the ADR here, and really it's just it's the same as the BHP price divided by the Australian dollar to arrive at this particular price. But what I'm pointing out here is that this move up here, that's moved up a long way, right? It moved up like 3.5%, but not the fact that it's gone that far up. It's the fact that you know, that's moved up 50% nearly. I'll just check that. If I took it from here to here, yeah, so that, oh, close. So it's nearly at 50%. So if this was going to be this move down through here, if this was going to be like a third wave, then the fourth wave would come back to the 40%, the 38.2%. And yes, it has done that, and yes, it is over that, and you know, is it this or is it that? But as a fourth wave, it is a little bit high, so it does present the possibility of, well, I mean, it could certainly come down and give us a fifth wave down here for that, but there's a good chance that all of that's completed now in here, and that we're actually going up from that point. So I think that's interesting. And when we look at our local BHP, which will lead the way over the US one, of course, you know, that's also moved up quite a long way as well now, isn't it? You know, it's not like we have to go along today. Like I said, Thursday's got a bit of got to be careful about Thursday. It's got a bit of a habit of opening higher. It's got the same distance here, opening higher and then closing lower for the day. And also too, if this is some sort of five wave move here, then that would be 1 and 2 in here, and the third wave here, and then there'll be a fourth and a fifth coming in here, and then there'll be some sort of ABC pattern here. So this is 45, so the next number up is 48, and when we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, so just refining this situation here. So 46, just trying to get it there, 46, 50, didn't quite get it, and 47, 22 and a half or something, whatever it is there. Anyway, close enough there. But if so basically what I'm saying here is that we're entering group 2 now. So if we can get support in group 2, or tomorrow, if we could identify a move up there, if we just go to say 20 ticks and just have a look at this situation here, maybe how much do we need here? 2k? Yeah, right. So let me just get my bearings on this. So that would have to be, oops. Okay, so that's 46.50 here. This will be 47.20 there, 22 and a half rather. But so yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about this little guy here. Let me just go back and have a look here. So look, we could look at this as 1 and 2 and a drop for 3 here, and then some sort of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's too high to be a fourth wave here. Do you know what I mean? If I was counting this down and looking for the fourth wave, it's moved a little bit high. Look, it's going to run into trouble at the supply here and at the 46.50. So, and we can see that at the 46.50 is working, can't we? Do you know what I mean? Even though it gapped through here, it jumped over the fence. But and also looking at this here too, we can't count it as 5 waves. You could possibly look at this as a third wave up here with 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'll move up. But I'm thinking that there'll be momentum in this, and folks will still be into this. So it'll probably end up something like this. And then once we've got that full 5-wave structure there, then we can look, then we can say, well, we've got 5 waves here, we're going to get a pullback, and then we're going to go up at that point. So I think we could do something like that tomorrow to see how it looks, and we'll see how I mean, because it's going to be US dollar affected, we'll see if this low in the US dollar, see if that's been breached at that point, and see what all that looks like. Because if this is going to push up from here, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this, and we'll have to look at this as an ABC for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up to here, and then failing at that point, you know. So we have to get past the failure pattern at that point. This will be the same for, I won't go into long, so it'll be the same for RIO as well. That would be the ABC pattern here, even though it hasn't pulled back to the 50-60%. If you get a classic trading levels pattern, that's not 5 waves up there yet. But if you've got a classic trading levels pattern or tested support on top of the 120 here, then you can use that to go long on at that point. We can see the stochastics are telling you to go in and buy. So you can edge in a small way if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I don't have that 5 waves up there yet for RIO, but there we go. That can be the ABC correction. So if Rio's got this here, then this market can also have the same as well. But I'm still a bit reluctant about some of these markets in all of this, because when I look at copper and some of the other markets, we've got a big wave 1 and 2 up here for, say, copper, you know, like this. So not quite convinced just yet, but you see how far that's pulled up there. So that's looking good as well. So I think that will just continue to push up here now. So if you want to go long at least to the 25, don't overdo it at this point, because we still need the US dollar on side. So we've had gold like this here. There's two ways to look at gold. We can have it, well, there's three actually, but an ABC here, and we're done. And we're getting an impulse wave to the upside. So that's good. But this is a reaction also too from the US dollar as well, you know. So we need to see if this follows through. We need to see this. We need to see if we get. This has been going for really 2 or 3 days, really, on this low area here, which would coincide with this top being here. In this case, we need that low to be breached here, and then if that's breached, then this is going to fly up here. There's different ways to look at this, of course. But we're just going to go in and have a bit of a look at this. Maybe it's on the 10K. I've done the alternative count here. Oh, it's just another count. Yeah, not the one that I wanted. We just have a little look here. That's that count. So I mean, we're just basically looking for 5 waves here for this. Did I talk about this yesterday? I must have done in one of the videos. Might have been the commodities or something. Let's go to 1,000 ticks. See what I've got here. Okay, I've got something here. Let's just get in a bit more data here. Oh, this is a different count. Yeah, this is the one that could match up with the Australian dollar, Australian index. So here as 1, 2, 3, 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to have an A wave down here, and then a B wave up here, and then down again. Now, it does appear that we are getting, if I can just go over this, we've got 1 and 2 here, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So this is a 4th wave here. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we'd have to call this as wave 1 in here. I don't know if wave 1 goes to here or here. Looks like wave 1 with an ABC pattern here, or maybe wave 1 to the top, I don't know. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bit of overlapping here, and then we've got this here. So I'm a bit unsure about this particular top here. We don't have to really worry about it too much, but it does appear that we do getting 5 waves here, and it is struggling at the top here. So that means we're going to get a pullback here. So that means you could buy back, if that's the top, that will be the 50-60%, right? And if it does pull down, we need to kind of figure out the A, the B, and the C here, and then we can look to go along over this side over here. But once again, as I mentioned, it'd be nice for this low to be taken out here. That will be the critical thing. So while this is pulling back here, by the by, that means that this will push up. It'll push up here somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It'll try to push up a bit, and then let's see if it comes down after that. You know, that's the thing. So a little push up there, and then down at that point. So if it does push up to there, then this other low that's in here, if that's breached, if it takes the high out here, if it pushes up here, then if that's breached at that point, then it's likely to come down too. So a little bit of an earlier thing there, and yeah, so we could start looking at this move here. Now we don't know if it's wave 1 or wave A up here, so that's something we need to wave A or wave 1 to be realistic, wave 2 or B over here. But what will happen, 5 waves over here will give us another 5 waves over here. So this is really for you know, short-term traders in that space. And when we have a look at GDX, we've been doing the same thing as well as the A, the B, and then the 1, 2 here, and then 1 and 2 in here, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 5th. So yeah, I mean, that could be the way that it could play out here. I mean, the other way that it could play out is this being a fourth wave here and this being a 1 and 2 here, so that needs to be addressed. But that would take us up to this 38.2% at that point. So that's a possibility. I don't think it's the case when I look at the banks and everything else with all of that, but but GDX here is doing the same thing as well, probably a little bit cleaner here really, so might be one more little high to come in. Definitely the third wave is in the middle. That will be wave 1 and 2 to here, or wave 2 to here. You have to pull that apart because that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there could be another little top to come in here and then rolling over at that point. So we'll be able to use the 28 at that point. So no point in chasing that because it'll just roll over. You know, this is the same for BHP and all the rest of them. This is the impulse wave to the upside for those markets. If this is a low in place, then you know, and we've got this down here as the A, the B, and the C, then that could be putting Newcrest in a buy position now as well. Now, if Newmont didn't make the bid, the bet, same thing really, I guess, didn't make that, well, then we wouldn't have had that push up there. I know it sort of woulda, coulda, shoulda, and all the rest of it, but I do think that as wave 1 here, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, because I can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in here and down for 5. So I think that we've got a low in here. The only other caveat here would be if we look at the other markets as wave A down here, then we'll have a B and then a C wave down here. So the damage at that point, if it did come down into a wave C, just to let you know what you'd be up against, would be, you know, it could pull back a little bit deeper at that point. It could pull back in over here for that. That would be the other side here. It may not pull all the way back down, but I think we need to draw that line down there so you can draw a line in the sand, you know. So you could go long on this. I guess what I would do is I would only have a small trade. I would be thinking to myself, you know, if that was the low, Pete, it would be nice to get in and you know, give myself a pat on the back and feel good about myself and everything. But at the same time, I can get trapped in here. So if that is wave 2, well then wave 3 is going to go up here somewhere, right? So then I think to myself, well, all right then, so why don't I just get half a position in here, or whatever, something smaller anyway, and so we'll give that the green light there. And then what about if we get up into the box, and we won't take all the profit, but let's just take a good chunk off. And then what we can do at that point is that we'll take that, copy that line, and then we'll put that, for the moment, we'll put it under here, but we'll lift that up a little bit. So we end up in a small profit, because basically what we can do, if this does move up from here to here, it's either going to move up in 3 waves, right, and then fail and come down, or it's going to move up in 5 waves. And if it moves up in 5 waves, then it's going to have an ABC back here again. So if it does that, what I could do is still take some money off the table when it gets to the box there. We'll have a look at the internal structure. But I could add another position on that B wave there, or on the pullback here. And then I could, because I'm basically thinking to myself, this is the largest number, the 25 here. I could get a couple of 1 or 2 small positions in here. And then if we ever do get support on the top here, then I can build in some full positions at that point, you know. And we'll have that as support at that point, you know. So that way I'm just kind of edging my way into the market without making a big deal about it. And but at the end of the day, it's just a way to manage your exposure. So if you do have a loss here, first of all, we'll just be taking half a position, and then we'll be taking half the money off at the table there, and then we'll be lifting the stop up further up here, so we'll be a little bit safer at that point. Not a lot, but a bit more. and that way you're in the game, and you're learning, and those sort of things. So all of that. Oh, right, I didn't do the other stocks, which I really wanted to do. So let's just do those. Let me find them. This one here. So we're going to start off with copper. So with copper here, we've been looking at this from the top here as a fourth wave, and we've gone all the way down for the A wave, up for the B wave, and down for the C wave. So it's nice to see that move up on higher volume here yesterday, but this has got the last 2 days or 3 days have been really about the US dollar. So this could actually be down for 1 and back for 2 here, and then come down here at this point as 3, 4, and 5. There's that to play out as well. But if it takes out the top here, well, then that's going to be just dandy at that point, isn't it? Because then we know that we can look for a larger 5 waves to the upside here, and this is what we're talking about with RIO and FMG and those sort of things. So look, it is looking all pretty good. So as far as we can say with copper, we'll make new highs as long as we don't make a new low here, because we're not quite there just yet. I could just have a look at that on a 5-minute chart, just to see what that looks like, that move up there. I mean, to me that looks impulsive rather than corrective. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like we're looking at a clear 3-wave move, and plus we're kind of at that high over here. So that's the 61.8% there. So we're above the 61.8%, and it doesn't look like it's in 3 waves here. So maybe that US dollar is going to crash, and we can call a top in for the US dollar. Well, not a top, at least. I mean, I could go. I could call the B wave top in for that, because it's at the wave for 1 lesser degree. But I'd also need to consider it as an A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave up here. We can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one. So, not that I got kids and they're lovely little creatures, but they're always kids, even when they're adults. Not that I've got any, and not that I'd know. I shouldn't be so harsh. So yeah, the copper, that would be the same with all the copper stocks, and we're seeing that in BHP. So this is nickel, and this is Chinese stock, and we've been talking about this being positive, which is fantastic. It's kind of lifting the others to the point, but obviously there'll be a currency exchange valuation in this as well. We've been focused on IGO. So with IGO here, we've been looking down as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here. And I've been looking for this. Well, we know that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and then wave 2 can sit on that one. And then this would be 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So that will be the third. So I think we're in the fourth here on nickel, and we can have one more move down. The move down can take like 3 to 5 days. If I've got this wrong and this sort of shoots up here further, then what we'll do is we'll try to look for 5 waves up here eventually, and then we'll look for the ABC back here, and then we'll look to go in long on the ABC at that point. Because I don't particularly want to shove that in here and that into here and that into here. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to force it into there, because not only it looks silly, it makes me look silly as well. But at the same time, I could look silly being, not calling the low in and all those sort of things as well. It's tricky business, this gambling that we do. But anyway, I try to look for something that's a bit more solid. I don't have 5 waves up here, and that's what we'd be looking for. But because it made a new low here, we could be there. Do you know? I mean, it could be something silly too, like wave 1 here and 2 here, and then wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and then wave 5 down. Do you know what I mean? It's not what we were seeing really on the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart with all of this, I have to say, because we were in there looking at that before. But it's possible now that I sort of think about it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the rather big 5th wave here. I mean, I could see that we could put this in here and the wave 4 to here and the wave 5 to here. But let's just wait to see if we get 5 waves up here first. I'm not get too excited about that, but exciting as it is. So I won't go into all of these at the moment, and we'll go to the lithium. So we've got triple L here. So that's little Leo. There's a chance that we could push up here for this one, but I'd still get more information, because we could look at this as wave 1 here with an ABC here for 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and then the ABC here, and work all that into the C wave here and buying it on the bounce here. I don't think you could go too far wrong here in just buying this anyway, because this move down to here, right, this move from here to here on the 1 hour chart, it's not 5 waves. It's clearly an A, B, C, and when we think about it, this other move here from the low here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, then an A, B, C, and then really this little 5-wave structure here is much the same as this one, a small wave 1 and 2, then the 3rd, 4th extending in the 5th here, so 1, 2, 3, a bit of an extension in the 5th here like this one. So this is just a little fractal, little baby, it's a little baby Leo, little Leo in there. So yeah, so if it's going to fractal again over here, so if you think of this big picture here, and then this is smaller, well then we're going to get a smaller version in here as well again. So that inside of that we're going to get a smaller version in this as well here. So do we have 5 waves up here yet? No, that's wave 1, 2, 3. So if we get 4, 5, and then we'll get a little pullback in here. So we'll see. We'll see if we get 5 waves here. It'll probably shoot up here somewhere, and but so we'll see if it goes. I don't have 5 waves here yet, so that's the risk. Looks good, and that's why I married her. But how will that pan out? We don't know just yet. So AKE here could do the same. I still prefer a low here, because I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a pretty nice ABC here, or was it this one here as well? Oh, this one's getting quite close too. I mean, this is definitely a 4th wave here. I just don't know if we've got a truncated 5th. Yeah, we're close. As I keep saying, we're close, but we're not there yet. How's Liontown going? Yeah, it's just a shame about that. I mean, if that wasn't, let's just let's just get into some funny business here. Let's just say that whatever that was, that event, because it recovered pretty quickly, didn't it? Let's just say that it didn't happen. If it didn't happen, then we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4 in here and 5 here, and then we could look at this as some sort of ABC pattern. So we'll keep a bit of an eye here on in terms of how this plays out here for this. Because if the US dollar is going to break down, then we're going to see that push up. PLS, where are we with this? Yeah, this move up here appears to be corrective, so we should make a new low here, and still I can't really count 5 waves up here unless we're going to put like 1 and 2, or it's probably 1 and 2 to here actually, then 1 and 2, unless we're going to jam a 5th wave in. It just doesn't make sense at the moment, this one. How's our buddies over here going? I mean, it just looks corrective at this point. I know I could go 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and a 5th wave up here, then an A and a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here maybe, or 1, 2, 3. It's still 3, isn't it? 4, 5. Yeah, not quite ready yet with these. So I will leave it at that. So the lithium's not ready, but the other ones could go. But if that US dollar breaks lower, then we're all got a green light. So the Aussie dollar here, I just think that we've got 1 and 2 here and 3, and I think this is a 4. We've got one more move to come down at this point. Now, how far will it come down? Well, that will depend on a few things, but definitely got good support at this number here, which is the 6650, the lower end of group 2. So I think that will be probably its line at that point. Let's just cruise in here to, I'll just skip to 5k. Yeah, I was looking at this because we were looking at this being the 4th wave here, but we have made a new low here. I don't want to do something stupid like this and put wave 5 here and call that low in. We've got an impulse wave here, and this here looks a little bit corrective, so I'll just have to wait. This is like the US dollar in reverse here, really, but the US dollar's the big daddy, so we have to wait for that. So let's just continue to cruise in here and look at this in a different way. So we've had this as wave 3 and wave 4 here. Doesn't look very impulsive at this point. That looks like 5 waves to the upside here, so that looks corrective. That looks like 5 waves. That looks like it wants to go up from this point. We could still call it a 4th wave here at that point, could we? Can we move that to there and look at that as an ABC pattern? How far does that take us up? Takes us up a bit too far, doesn't it? Let me just double check. Yeah, we're going to be overlapping wave 1 at that point. But it does look, that little 5 waves, let's just go in and check on that a bit closer. Let's just bring in a bit more data here. Okay, so I have looked at, you can see that 5 wave structure there now as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could look at that as the A, B, and C here to that point. As long as that doesn't drop any more, that's already at the 50-60% here. So let's just see if that holds. I mean, while that box holds, that low holds, then this market could push up from that point. At the same time, let's just work from the other end here. And that's also the 50-60% at that point too, while it's sitting in the pocket. The pocket's the 62 to 65 there, so, and that's 3 waves. So the long trade would be, for traders, would be above there. Otherwise that's 3 waves, and that could come down, because you could look at that as 5 waves. That could be a truncated 5th wave here, so that would be the A, the B, and the C wave to here for wave 4, but it's a little bit low. There's problems with that. Yeah, all of these, this little pattern in here is a reoccurring pattern of this one and this one, and the big, and this is a big, they're all the same, so it's kind of bulking to the upside, but I'm not seeing any 5 waves to the downside except this possible one, but then we're up against this here. Yeah, I'm not too sure at the moment with this. I'll just leave it. I know that we're close to a low. We'll just see with the commodities pushing up. So this will just, if that US dollar breaches that low that I mentioned, then you can go long here. But otherwise, don't do anything, because in one way or another, these are wave 4s, and all we're going to do is get into trouble here, right? So only if that low on the US dollar is breached will we go long here. Otherwise, we'll do nothing. Nothing is good. Alrighty, I'll chill out on that. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.